Hi, my name is Doug, and I'm host of Secular Left Podcast. Thank you for joining me for this little nibble of my show. Hope you'll check us out in full. 3 religious schools filed a federal lawsuit against the Lucas County Board of Health over its order to close all school buildings from December the 4th to January the 11th due to a surge in COVID-19 cases in the county. The lawsuit contends that the order violates the school's First Amendment rights. Here's a report from local TV station WTVG.
And Diane, it's Emmanuel Christian, Monclova Christian here at St. John's Jesuit. They are the schools involved in the lawsuit. Now they're asking for a temporary restraining order against the health department's order, saying that order violates their protection of religious freedom. Monclova Christian Academy knows all too well that COVID-19 is serious. The head pastor tells 13 ABC the school is closed for 2 weeks as it dealt with a COVID spread. For them, the legal issue is not the virus. Pastor Jeremy Rand saying this is about unnecessary government overreach. The pastor made this recorded message earlier this week.
We don't need unelected boards dictating and placing orders upon us. And as an American, we need to realize that is dangerous.
It's not that Lucas County Board of Health can't ever shut them down in response to COVID. It's that if Lucas County Board of Health is closing those religious schools, they need to do so in a way that's fair to them as compared to other non-religious activities. And they need to have some strong reasons.
Dr. Lee Strang, a University of Toledo constitutional law professor, expects the arguments in part to be, why can religious schools not open and allow kids to practice their faith if the health department isn't shutting down all public places? The school says in the lawsuit, the act of worship, or engaging in physical or mental acts to honor God, takes many forms beyond singing songs in the assembled company of other believers. For many, religious education and religious worship go hand in glove.
On the one hand, the Board of Health is saying, hey, you religious schools, you guys can't fulfill your religious mission. But at the same time, if you want to go to the casino, go ahead. If you want to go to a rock concert, go ahead and do that. If you want to exercise, go ahead and do that.
Health department lawyers in a filing Tuesday countered the suit, saying they do have the lawful ability to close schools in a pandemic and that it's being done across the board to all 7th through 12th grade schools in Lucas County, not just religious schools.
One of the things that the plaintiffs have to show in order for their claim to be powerful under current Supreme Court jurisprudence is that their religious activities are being treated less well than secular activities.
A side note, the guy in that WTVG report that they spoke to as an expert in constitutional law who really didn't take a position on the lawsuit is an old friend. His name is Lee Strang. He was one of the plaintiffs in an earlier school mask mandate lawsuit filed in Putnam County. Strang is a member of the Conservative Federalist Society, which supports the concept of originalism, where the Constitution means what it meant in the 1700s. You know, for example, there's no right to privacy, or that the death penalty isn't cruel and unusual punishment. Women didn't own property. People who support constitutional originalism do so for the items that they seem to disagree with and look the other way when originalism might rebut their views. While there has been spikes in positive cases in the schools before the order was made, the reason for the order was that there was worry that children wouldn't necessarily get sick, but could spread the virus they picked up at school and take it to their home and potentially harm others. Usually a student is inside a school building for several hours a day, so the chance of picking up the virus is greater than if one visits a grocery store for less than 30 minutes. And there is less of an opportunity for social distancing at a school than, say, at a casino that has room to spread people out. The schools that are part of the lawsuit say they should be treated like a casino, gym, restaurant, and tanning parlors, which remained open. Yes, some religious schools want to be treated like a business that one doesn't frequent 5 days a week for multiple hours, like being in school. The plaintiffs also claim that the order interferes with their ability to provide daily in-person mentorship, religious training, counseling, and prayer to 7 through 12 students. The order doesn't prevent any religious activity in the schools. It should, but government agencies are shy about touching anything that is part of a religious service. A recent U.S. Supreme Court case had a New York Catholic diocese and Jewish synagogue getting a favorable ruling over a health order temporarily not allowing in-person church services there. The Lucas County health order doesn't single out religious schools or infringe on their religious ceremonies. The order is also temporary. What this lawsuit is really about is sports. Two of the schools in question play high school sports, and that is one thing the health order shut down. In fact, one of the schools, St. John's, sent around a letter to parents saying it would be looking at how to circumvent the health order so their basketball team could practice and play. This federal lawsuit seems like another way to get around the order. Religious schools are a fact of life in the U.S., and I agree that they shouldn't be singled out by the government. But any comparison should be apples to apples, not apples to casinos. The Lucas County Public Health Order is temporary and applies to all schools, public and private, and it doesn't infringe on the religious school's religious activities, even if I think it should. Temporarily preventing in-person church services just isn't an undue burden on one's religious beliefs. If we believe what we are told by the religious, that God is everywhere, I'm sure he can see them pray over a Zoom call. The reason a church is complaining about church services is because it's harder to pass a collection plate online. Treating religious schools like public schools for a public health order also isn't a violation of rights. A violation of rights would be a government shutting down Catholic schools because they are a bad idea, or that some non-mainstream religion is just too weird, so they try and tax it or arrest the leaders for trying to promote it. A violation of rights would be a nationally chartered children's social club denying membership to an atheist child because it claims to be a Christian organization. A violation of rights would be supporting the passage of laws that takes the rights away from someone to make their own medical decisions, just because you claim your deity is against it. A temporary health order meant to protect the health of all of us is not an undue burden on the rights of the religious, because it only applies to school and not the religious activities. Thank you for joining me. I'm Doug Berger, host of Secular Left. Check us out at secularleft.us.